I hope you can hear me now. So Koti or any participant, if you can just punch in a few words in the chat that you can hear me. Okay, so Koti has confirmed that he can hear me. Nag, Rajkumar or Ram, can you confirm? Okay, so Rajkumar can hear me. Ram can hear me. Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, first of all, I apologize for the delay. We are all more than half an hour late. It happened because my microphone was not responding. Everything was working fine, but microphone was not working. And now I've restarted my laptop and now it is working. It didn't happen earlier. This, I think, the first time I have faced this problem. Okay, so what I can assure you that next 1 hour plus, you would be having a very fulfilling session. That I can assure you, and definitely you will get some knowledge with you about RPA and UiPath. So without any further delay, let me start talking about this training. And so this is going to be a demo session so that you can understand the overall training structure and get a sense of the training, what you will be getting through this training, and assessing the overall delivery style from my side, and that will help you in deciding to pursue this training. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen. The screen is saying RPA, Robotic Process Automation, UiPath training. Okay, so what I will do in this training, I will break it into two parts. First part, I will be talking about RPA. What exactly is RPA? What problems RPA is solving in the business sector. And in the second part, I will be demonstrating UiPath as a RPA tool, and I will build a simple workflow and will execute it to do few things that I will explain in my UiPath demo session. So let us start with the first part, RPA, what it is all about. First of all, about my introduction and some details about my profile. I have more than 20 years of experience in the IT industry. I have worked in domains such as process automation, BPM, business process management, DMS, document management systems. I worked in IT risk management, pharmacy benefit management, PBM, and e-governance and CAD/CAM projects. My experience has been into in many different IT segments, such as product development, application development, business process automation, and training. The companies I have worked with are like NewGen, which is a PBM, BPM and DMS product company, SDG in IT risk management, Genpact Headstrong into investment banking, and NIC, which is a central government organization. Okay, so as far as the training format is concerned, it is going to be 15 days training, 2 hours a day, and we can discuss about what is the optimal time when we would like to have this training. So we can talk about it subsequently. Intent of this session is more about the RPA and the UiPath demo, but it is also important to understand what you would get in this training. So we would be having training sessions. I will be providing installation material. There would be assignments, question and answer sessions, quizzes, so that we can make some assessment. There would be a project that you will be working, and I will be assisting you wherever you need help. There will be overall assessment on what you have learned and what benefits it potentially going to provide you from career point of view, from job point of view. I would be using Google Pages or Google Drive to share a few artifacts and software content. And of course, there will be career guidance depending on what exactly is your goal to go through this training. And towards the end, I will be requesting you for some training feedback of this training session. Okay, let me just see if I can open my highlighter. Okay, so we talked about this training format and what you would be getting in this training. So we'll be talking about all these things in our training in detail. Moving on, the training content. So this is UiPath training content. So we'll be talking about RPA introduction. We'll be talking about what is the market, what exactly is happening in the entire market about robotic process automation, who are the leading vendors, what are the career options, and likewise. We'll be talking about UiPath software, its installation. In detail, we'll be going through a lot of topics in UiPath. We'll be talking about UiPath Studio, how it can be used for building workflows and process automation. We'll talk about different types of workflows that we can have in UiPath or RPA. And then we'll be talking about different constituents that you would be needing to build a workflow. So such as, data types, so variables, arguments, data manipulation, collections, tables, list. So all these things will be part of our learning process for building workflows. And of course, control flows such as do while, if statement, for each. So if you are coming from a software development background, you can easily can understand what all these building blocks of any workflow would mean. And of course, we will be talking in detail about all these things in our training. Namespaces, how you can leverage namespaces in your workflows. UiPath provides 4 different types of recording mechanisms. So this is basically to build your processes by recording the process by giving the manual steps, which will be recorded automatically by UiPath. So we'll be talking about it. And there are 4 different types of recording available in UiPath. Then something very important like UI elements, data scraping, selectors, which is the core building element that how we can build our automation. And then there will be the core business facing functionality such as automating images or text automation, automating Excel, PDF, emails, SAP automation overview, mainframe and terminal automation. So these will be our topics in detail, because in real automation you would be interacting with most of these UI or data exchanging applications. So that is something that will be extensively going through in our training. And last, the control center, which makes it enterprise ready, where you can have central control of your bots, making it enterprise level deployment of RPA. So we'll be talking about that when we come to Orchestrator. This is the control center or control command interface for the entire RPA governance. Okay, moving on. So housekeeping is something that we can talk about when we start our subsequent sessions. So I'm going to skip this. And let me just try to understand the profile of our audience. And if I may request you to fill a quick survey, that will be very helpful. So can I request you to fill this quick survey, which is just having a few questions in it. So I'm posting this URL in the chat box to everyone. So if you can type in this in your browser, it won't take much time. So just type in this URL. It will open up a simple survey. And just fill this in so that I get an idea about the overall profile of audience. And accordingly, I can restructure my training or this demo session so that you get the maximum benefit from it. So I hope everyone has access to internet browser, and you will be able to fill this in. And I will share the responses received so that we know that what kind of group we are having today. Okay, so let's give it a 30 seconds or so that you can fill this survey. So I'll wait until 7:46. The URL is in the chat box. Okay, so I got one response so far, and it's 7:46. So let me jump in. So the one person who has provided, so is a fresher. Okay, I got another one. The other person is with 2 to 5 years of experience. No experience in .NET. Both of you are having Java experience, and perfectly fine. And some in addition, some other languages too. So don't have any experience in automation. Okay, excellent. So you are from CA, Bangalore, US. Okay, I got another one. 2 to 5 years of experience. Okay, very nice. Okay, so that's not important. Names and email. Okay, so what I was interested in, so I got another one. Excellent. So what I was interested in to see that what kind of profile we have. So I have one person who is a fresher, two people with 2 to 5 years of experience and one person with 5 to 10 years of experience. So excellent. And as far as programming experience is concerned, none of you have any experience in .NET. One in Java and no experience in Java. Okay, 3 have experience in Java. Okay, fair enough. Let me move on. So now I have a fair idea that you have some programming experience, which is going to be helpful. So let us talk about, what is RPA and where does it fit? Now, you must be hearing in the industry a lot about artificial intelligence technologies. And, Forrester Research is a major, analyst organization, research analyst group, and they have given 10 leading AI technologies. So top 10 artificial intelligence technologies. And according to this research report, so technologies such as machine learning, deep learning, text analytics, and natural language processing, natural language generation, decision management, biometrics. So all these are basically the leading artificial intelligence technologies. And among these 10 leading AI technologies, one is robotic process automation. So according to this report, RPA is one of the leading AI technology, and it is growing very rapidly at the moment. So much so that suddenly over last 1 year, a lot of investment is happening in this space. Many companies have tied up with giants such as IBM, Pegasystems, Oracle. So I'll be sharing that news also, so that you understand what really is happening in this RPA marketplace. So message from this slide is that RPA is one of the leading artificial intelligence. Of course, it has a lot to do with the process automation, and we'll be talking about that. And as we are making progress in RPA space, there's a lot of artificial intelligence technologies such as machine learning and natural language processing coming in with RPA and making it as a intelligent RPA platform. So the market is entirely going towards intelligent RPA, wherein in addition to the overall automation, businesses are able to bring artificial intelligence in their process automation to take maximum benefit that you typically get from human being, because human beings can think and can analyze data and can take actions according to their thinking abilities. Robotics or robots can bring that level of thinking to a good extent to make decisions in their process execution. So I will be talking about that as we make progress. But let us see where do we stand in RPA from overall maturity perspective. So what this slide is showing you, this is those top 10 artificial intelligence technologies which have made good progress in past many years. And if you see that there are 3 different curves, so this curve is more about technologies which are not yet mainstream technologies, but they have made initial success. The second curve is more about the technologies which are now established, and now they are in a rapid growth phase. The third one is illustrating technologies which have made a reasonably mature state, and now they are more into overall growth or acceptance all across the businesses that we have. So talking specifically about robotic process automation, which has which used to be here only a couple of years back, 2 years, 3 years back, means that this is a technology, yes, good technology, but it was not accepted by businesses in past 2 to 3 years. Of course, there were companies and IT services companies using RPA, like Genpact, for example. So Genpact has been using RPA for providing process automation services to their customers since last 5 to 6 years. So 2011 they started building a practice. But point is that it was very, very small. It is only last year or two that it has really grown to a level where now we can call RPA as a mainstream technology. So it has jumped from a technology which was into a, trying to prove itself and, getting accepted in the marketplace, in the businesses. Now it has gone to the next layer altogether. And RPA, I would say last 6 to 12 months has got a lot of traction in the businesses, and suddenly you can, I hope you can, visualize that suddenly in the past 6 to 12 months, the RPA has become a buzzword. It has become the buzzword, and it is a technology, sought after technology, because businesses have now started to accept this technology for their business solutions, business problem solutions. And it is very evident from the development in the RPA space over past 6 to 12 months, because now suddenly IBM, Pegasystems, Oracle, all these companies have started tying up with RPA technologies to provide a much bigger solutions or technology solutions to the marketplace. So you can understand that how major traction it is getting in the marketplace. And as far as the projection is concerned, for next 5 to 10 years, RPA will be in a rapid growth phase. If you can relate with technology such as a Java programming language, for example, which came in mid 1990s, and suddenly in 2000 and mid 2000 it was super duper popular. But today nobody talks about Java, so to say, after 22 plus years, because yes, so many people are using it. It has become one of the de facto programming language for building business applications and products. But it is more of commodity. It has gone through its initial growth phase. But I would say that what we have seen for initial 5 to 10 years for Java or .NET or other technologies, RPA is just starting on that curve. So next 5 to 10 years, it will be growing very rapidly. And there will be a tremendous amount of RPA skilled developers and architects and project managers and business analysts and also testers required in the marketplace, because now businesses are automating their business processes and business operations using robotic process automation. So intent of showing this slide is to share with you that the RPA has now become a mainstream technology, and now businesses have started adopting it at a enterprise level. I mean, some companies might be using it in pockets, in some department, or 1 or 2 process here and there, but now it has become enterprise level adoption. So companies are adopting it and using it. And as I mentioned, for next 5 to 10 years, surely it is going to be in a very rapid growth rate, and that would mean that we would be requiring a lot of RPA skilled resources in the marketplace. Okay, moving on. Just to demonstrate, what is the size, and of course we'll go into more details about RPA. So the current, this year the size of RPA market is close to $350 million, $350 million US dollars. Now here is the beauty, that over the next 5 years, it will be growing at a rapid rate of 60%, and it will become a 3.5 billion industry in a short period of 5 years. It will become 8.7 billion in 2024, as per Grand View Research. Forrester Research, which is a leader in analyst group side, just like Gartner, they have also given a similar number. So 2021 is 2.9 billion. Grandview is giving this size. So the important point is that over the next 5 years, the market will grow 10 times. So it will, what it is today, it is projected to grow at a 60% rate, and it will be 10 times of what we are today. So you can imagine that what is the potential of this market from career point of view and also from business point of view. And that is why Accenture, Cognizant, Infosys, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, and virtually all the leading companies, Infosys, they all are into RPA practices now, and selling their services to companies so that they can build RPA based automation for them. So it is very evident now that all these companies are coming into RPA to provide their RPA automation services to businesses. Moving on, and let's talk about what exactly RPA is. And this slide, I will be spending some time, and this will give you a good idea about what RPA can do. Now, if you can think about, like 20 years back, or plus, or 30 years back, we used to have mainframe systems, IBM mainframe. And today, of course, they are legacy systems. Virtually, nobody start a new project in mainframe, but because the companies had many, applications or business, automation, so to say, they are still continuing. Businesses, old businesses especially, are using mainframe and building and continue to operate their businesses. So talking about, subsequent to that, there are, packaged software such as ERP and CRM, like, SAP, ERP, or Oracle. So then we started having packaged products. Subsequent to that, we are having, applications like full code SDKs. So these are like .NET projects or Java projects, and businesses started building applications using Java and .NET. So these are full code applications. Subsequently, because in IT projects, which are full code based, SDK based application development, there are companies who have started building common components that you typically would be requiring to build a project from scratch. So if you want to build a new application, business application using, say, .NET or Java, then obviously you have to take care of all the things like, pool connection, security, database connections, and some common API that typically you would be using in any project. So there are companies who have built a platform which is addressing a automation of business processes, and these companies are known as BPM companies, business process management platform companies. And these platforms can be used for automating processes with little bit of coding. Rest would be through their BPM platform. You can model your business process. You can feed in business logic in that workflow process that you have modeled in BPM. You can even build a UI and do integration with other systems. And it would be requiring little bit of coding, but by and large, it is more of a modeling and feeding in business logic and UI interfaces wherever you need. Now, if you look at, typically it is solving, of course, the, packaged products are solving big problems like, HR processes or automating the entire ERP system. Then applications which are very specific to your businesses, you're building that using .NET or Java. And then BPM is more specifically about automating business processes. Say, for example, if somebody is in the market of loan and lending business, then you can automate those processes either by building an application using .NET or Java or any other programming language. But BPM provides you a basic framework available from IT perspective, and you can quickly build your business process. So, if I look at all these, mainframe, your packaged products, your .NET, Java, or other programming language-based applications, and BPM automation, people are using these processes because ultimately they are, computer-based processes. And so, if you look at, like a claim insurance in insurance company, and insurance company is having a claim processing process, then of course these, the entire claim processing has been automated in different applications, and these will be, software applications that people would be using, or the company people or company employees would be using to process claims. Now, the important point is that do we really need that so many people, in a typical insurance claim processing department, you might have hundreds and hundreds of people. They are simply doing the same thing of reading some, request filled up in an email or online portal or through, some PDF or coming through from some agent, and then, doing a lot of, process steps and making decisions for that claim processing. The claim would be finally approved or rejected, or could have some exceptions wherein the insurance company would be asking few questions from the claim requester. So point is that there are processes such as accounts payable, accounts receivable, invoice processing, claims processing, procure to pay, collections, loan origination systems, and there are many other processes that are there in some form, but many hundreds of people are using that to complete the actual execution of the process. So people are using these applications to complete the business process execution. Now, question is that can we automate these people-centric steps that people interact with business applications to do the business? And this is where RPA or robotics comes in. Now, what robotics does, and by now you would have understood that this robotics is all about software robots. Robotics in RPA has nothing to do with industrial and manufacturing robots. So these are not physical robots. These are not industrial or manufacturing robots. We are talking about software robots. And software robots can, in a way, replace people to execute on the processes. And that is what the RPA is getting popular for, because now we have processes where so many different interfaces or so many different applications and systems are interacted with to complete a business transaction. Just to share one information, I came across one company, and they have robots, or in short bots, automating a process which is interacting with 61 different applications in different platforms and different systems. They are not in one system. They are not in one computer. They are distributed, and a bot is able to interact with these 61 different applications, interfaces, and systems to complete a process, transaction. So point is that in such a complex process where so many steps have to be processed to complete a business transaction, so you can imagine there can be errors if human are doing that. There will be some challenges of overall usage. Of course, it will take longer time. Now, question is, can we automate these people-specific steps that we have to typically take to complete processes? Answer is yes. Now we have got a technology which is mature enough now. Of course, it is maturing, and there will be a lot of new things coming in, which is this. I'll talk about it. So the point is that now we have a technology which is mature enough and is a mainstream, and it is enterprise level. It is not simply small automation here or there. It is enterprise level. Big organization all across their companies can adopt and can automate these processes. So many banking, Bank of America or Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, all these companies are leveraging RPA to automate their business processes. And now, as I said, that robotics with artificial intelligence technologies such as machine learning and NLP for text analytics is taking RPA to the next level, which is, we are calling it as intelligent RPA or IRPA. So this is the next level of automation. Now the important thing is that we have this RPA, which is a no code. Remember, application using Java and .NET, full code SDK based development. BPM is taking it to the next level where it is low code platform based automation. RPA is non-invasive because now you virtually don't have to write any code. It is automation at the presentation level. So we are going to automate business processes, not at the integration level, not at the back end, having a middleware application software. No, in robotics, we talk about presentation level automation, and that means we virtually don't write any code for our automation. Now, if you see that typically, packages typically take years of development and implementation in any company. A .NET, .Java typically are, like a few quarters project, 2 quarter, 3 quarter, 4 quarters project. So that's a typical size, right? BPM can do automation much faster, and these projects can be like, few months project. The beauty about RPA is that RPA projects can automate a given process in weeks. So you don't have to really wait for months or quarters. Automation can happen within weeks, like 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. That's a typical, time required for automating a given process. Of course, it depends on the complexity and size of the process, but it is, we typically talk in terms of weeks and not in months and quarters. So that's a big advantage for businesses, and that is why it is getting popular. Now, typically we can call it as like, last mile automation, because you are automating the people-centric, tasks and automating these different, applications built using these different technologies. So last mile automation. Also, we can call it like, we are automating different islands of automation. See, I mean, these are also automation, right? These are also automation in some context. So, through mainframe, through packaged products, Java, .NET, BPM, we are also, these are all automation. But point is that people are using these applications and systems to get business processes executed. Robotics is coming in and automating that entire interaction that typically human beings are able to interact with these applications. Instead of human being, now robots will be able to interact and will be able to execute these business processes. And that's the beauty and the strength of RPA. So in a way, you can say that all these applications in different islands, it is able to automate that. Little bit of, from how these projects typically have been managed. So you can imagine, because you are from IT background, software development background, so you would understand that these projects, like package products, products implementation, like SAP, Oracle deployment, or building business applications using Java, .NET, Python, Node.js, or whatever. All these would be, require big IT teams, and they will be IT-driven projects. Beauty about BPM and RPA is that more than IT, these are business-governed, business-driven projects. And of course, you need IT teams. It's not that these can be done without IT teams. Of course, you need IT teams. And but the advantage is now the businesses can drive these projects. Earlier, the IT team would go to business. They will do, a lot of business requirements collection, business analysis, and there will be, gaps all the time, because you can't really understand 100% what business is actually looking for. But the advantage of BPM and robotics is that these projects can be driven by business directly, because these are business-facing solutions, rather than focusing on IT and IT components and IT different requirements. You are focusing on business and business rules and what interfaces should be there. So that is the advantage of BPM and now the robotics. Okay, moving on. So what then RPA is? What is the definition? So as I said, that RPA is all about software technology. So it's not a physical or manufacturing or industrial robot. So it's a software technology that automates execution of computer-based workflows or work processes, right? So I say automation of execution of computer-based workflow by human workers. So all the business processes that human people are interacting with, so typical business process or workflow process execution by human being is what? They will be interacting with different applications, different systems, databases, and then they will be completing a business process. So think about, consumer loan, for example, or insurance claim processing. When you take a consumer loan, what you do, you fill an application. Then you provide a lot of documents like, Aadhaar card, PAN card, address proof, and stuff like that. Then what happens? Then it will go to the lending company, say Bajaj Finserv or any other company. They will be entering data into their lending application that they have created. Then they will be feeding in or scanning your documents and putting in as part of artifacts repository in addition to your application. What will happen then? There will be another step, major step, which is known as a KYC compliance, know your customer requirement. It will be triggering another step, major step. It will take time. If a manual, KYC has to happen, then obviously it will take a very, very long period of time. Then there will be another step, looking at your banking details or your PAN number. There will be a credit worthiness check. So there will be a credit score check, whether this person is eligible for this loan or not. If there are some exceptions or decisions have to be made, then probably this will go to a supervisor or manager level. The manager and supervisor will be looking into it, and then will take a decision based on the credit history, KYC compliance, the kind of consumer loan requested, and then finally it will be approved or rejected. And then the major step will be coming in where a note or instruction will be going into loan issuing. So the point is that there are many major steps in any business process. For us, it might look very simple, but for businesses, it is a complete sequence, orchestrated way of orchestrated sequences to complete a business process. And human people are interacting with it, right? But RPA is automating those interactions and doing the things that typically human people would be doing. So now question comes, what are these business processes or operations? Can we automate each and every business process or operation? Answer is no. Because we are talking about robots, and robots are not, I mean, of course, they can't really replace a human being. As a human being, we have cognitive abilities, means we can think, we can analyze data, and we can make a decision based on the data analysis and our ability to think to make a decision. Robots by default can't do that. If you give very sequential, very clear instructions, of course they will do it. And as we bring machine learning and NLP and other artificial intelligence technologies, yes, robots will be able to make even decisions just like we do to a reasonable extent. I'm not saying 100% they would be having that ability, but to a reasonable extent, they will be able to make decisions also, just like you and I do in our, in our daily lives. They will be able to do. But coming back to, like what typical processes and operations we can call as RP candidates. So any process that is rule-based or workflow-driven are good candidates for RPA. They have to be repeatable in nature. I mean, if they are not repeatable and these are ad hoc processes, then of course it will be a major challenge to automate them. But if by and large the processes like claim processing, invoice processing, accounts payable, and many such processes, back office processes especially, are rule based, are workflow driven. I mean, they have sequence after different steps in a very sequence manner, and they are repeatable in nature. The entire BPO sector, for example, they do exactly this thing, and that is why all that they do is they are basically repeatable steps. Another important thing is that we automate in RPA at the presentation level, that is GUI level. So it is not about automating at the back end or at integration level. For that you have to write Java program, .NET program, and likewise. But RPA's strength is that we are automating at the presentation level. To make RPA meaningful, of course, you need to have a reasonable amount of volume, so that you can continuously feed a robot to do the business process execution. Most of these processes, because we are talking about human being, so administrative and clerical means that we are basically having automation through where people are involved. So they are called like administrative or clerical processes. As you have seen that we don't really need to do any coding in RPA. So that means we are not going to create any new entity. We are not creating any new application, no new system. It is basically that we are creating an automation by automating the presentation level or GUI level interfaces. And now these interfaces can be in different computers, different systems. That's a secondary thing. And RPA can automate that. So I can automate, for example, my portal is having a request of claims. So I can have a different application and different system altogether. Then data is coming into my, say, for example, ERP. Bot will be able to, read data, understand it, and then put it into ERP. ERP can trigger another process in different system, and a bot can do all these steps without needing any new creation or new application development. So that is why it is non-invasive. And that's another big plus for businesses, because they don't have to touch or modify their existing system. It is just the existing systems and applications will be automated at presentation level by bots. So now question comes, what different types of bots we have. So typically, we have like two types of bots. One is the attended bots, and these are front office robots. And the other one is unattended bots or back office robots. So attended bots are the bots, or the front office bots are bots which typically work in collaboration with human beings. So they work along with human being or the user, and it does things under the supervision of a human person. On the other hand, unattended are 100% back office bots which are able to do the process execution on their own. So they don't need any intervention or any human being supervision, and they will be able to operate on their own. As I mentioned earlier, I mean, now the cognitive and analytical abilities are coming in, and now we are becoming, the bots are becoming intelligent, and to a reasonable extent, now they will be able to make decisions just like you and I do in our work. Okay, so typically, what are the different use cases where we can apply RPA? We can apply front office processes, back office processes. So back office process could be like accounts payable, accounts receivable, claim processing, invoice processing, procure to pay, many sub processes, and likewise. We can do in IT support processes, remote infrastructure management, system integration we can do. So means a bot can bring integration to different systems and complete a process leveraging different integration points, which will make different systems to work in a coordinated way to do something specific. And of course, all these processes are, any workflow process definitely will be a good candidate for RPA. Okay, moving on. And I've talked about this slide, so I will just skip. This is what we talked about. So we talked about that process should be rule-based, workflow-driven, repeatable. They should be continuous in nature, means they should not be like one-off. Just you need it. It's just only 2 hours a day, or just need few days in a week or month. Then it is not a good candidate. You can of course automate it, but probably it will not be a good candidate. You need to have a sufficient volume. Another important thing with RPA is that it can work round the clock 24/7, not just like we human beings, we work only 8 hours or 9 hours a day. So that's another big advantage for RPA adoption. Processes which are documented or can be documented are good candidates, and where exceptions are well defined. Okay, this I have talked about, but let me just talk about it more. So, you will be hearing a few terms like software robots, or in short, bots, which is a common term in RPA. Now, essentially what RPA is able to do is able to create virtual workforce, because instead of now human beings, many of these process automation will be done by bots. And that is why it is basically a virtual workforce or digital workforce. So instead of a human workforce, now we're talking about digital workforce. Human workforce, digital workforce. And in near future, you will start hearing that companies are having a combination of human workforce and digital workforce. So you might hear that in a year's time from now or so, that a company A is having say 5,000 human workforce, that is 5,000 employees, and they would say we have 2,000 digital workforce, means 2,000 bots. So 5,000 human being and 2,000 bots. So something of that kind of combination you will start hearing in near future, in next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year timeline. This is going to be the reality. because there are tons and tons of business processes which are very mundane, and they are having very repeatable steps. And instead of human being, software bots will be able to automate them. And the human being part will be able to do much higher value work, rather than just doing repeatable workflow driven processes. And on top of this automation, which is just the do part, which RPA is able to do today very well, we will be seeing addition of cognitive and smart analytics, and combining these three will make it a digital workforce, and it will bring intelligent RPA as becoming the automation norm. So it is it is great time, I would say, in the automation industry. Software automation I'm talking about. Physical automation in car industry, manufacturing industry is already very mature. So we are not talking about that. But now the software automation or software bots based automation has just started, and RPA is able to do that. And as we add cognitive and smart analytics, it will become a intelligent RPA. Means there will be bots who will be able to do things, but will also be able to make decisions just like you and I are able to do today. So fantastic time to be in for business automation world. Okay, so what I will do, I think we already have crossed 1 hour of this discussion. We started late, of course, so I know that it is going beyond your budgeted time for this demo, but I hope it is okay with you all. And what I will do, I will spend some time on this slide, and then I will go to the actual UiPath demo. So as I discussed, that RPA is able to automate at presentation layer, means you can automate web, you can automate desktop-based applications, Excel, PDF, Word, emails. You can automate all these different interfaces. You can automate ERP systems, Java applications, and also the virtual systems, means your remote desktop based applications through Citrix. You will be able to automate that. So automation is not just limited to your system or a given computer, not at all. You can, as I was giving the example of 61 different applications in different systems, different locations. Some system could be in Singapore, some could be in US, some could be in some Asian country. Doesn't matter. A bot can interact with all these systems and can complete a business process. And a business process through these, presentation level or UI level interactions. And mainframe, of course, it can even automate mainframe. So virtually it is addressing all the possible interfaces that typically we use as human being for completing a process or workflow, right? So let me demonstrate you UiPath at this stage. So I will come out of this presentation, and what I will do, I will start UiPath. Now UiPath is one of the leader in RPA world, and you might have heard of some of the other softwares. And in fact, the top 3 leading RPA products today are Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, and UiPath. There are 20 other, more than 20 other RPA tools available, but the fact of the matter is that these are the top 3 RPA products. And our UiPath, for example, is growing rapidly. They have grown 400% in last year, 400%. And this year, they are going to grow estimated 500%. So this is going to be you know, wonderful time for these companies. So these three, especially, you know, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, and UiPath, these are by far the leaders in RPA. And as I mentioned, UiPath is growing at very rapid speed. They have grown 400% in last 1 year. So that shows that, you know, how big adoption is happening in the industry, and suddenly there is a lot of demand in you know, skilled resources, especially with these three RPA you know, products. Advantage with our UiPath is that, and this company has done something very different than other companies. So first and foremost, the beautiful thing that they have done is they have opened up their RPA software. Means you and I can easily download this product, can use it for learning as well as for small automations for a small size company. So that's a very plus thing. And they have provided a lot of documentation, different you know, knowledge base elements, artifacts on their website. So the biggest part is that they are providing their software free, and they are calling it as a community edition. And you know, like Automation Anywhere, I mean, they have India-based product. Of course, pretty much all these companies are US-based. They have headquarters in US, but origination happened in different locations. Like UiPath happened in UK, Romania is Romania-based. Like you know, Automation Anywhere is a Gujarat-based development center. Of course, their office is in US, headquarters in US. Same is true with Blue Prism. Their origination is in UK, but all these are basically operating from US. Because now, right now, I would say majority of companies who have adopted RPA are from US. There are very few companies in other countries like Australia or Japan, or I would say Europe is good in adoption, but you know, other countries have not yet started in real sense. Japan has just started. In India also, I have not got many examples of adoption, but like, you know, Axis Bank, for example, Axis Bank is using it, RPA, which is they're using Work Fusion. But talking about, you know, US-based companies especially, there is a tremendous amount of adoption of these RPA products. And especially talking about advantage with RPA, software is free. You can download it, function it. It is not true with you know, Automation Anywhere and Blue Prism and other products, but UiPath is able to provide these products free, and small companies and people like you who are interested in learning it can easily download and can start using it. We'll be talking in detail about installation and all that in subsequent classes, but the important part is that UiPath is available as a software as well as the documentation, which is fantastic. Okay, so let me go to, so I have installed UiPath and you can see it here. So I'm going to click on it. And it will start UiPath on my machine. So I'm using the latest version, 2017.1. So that's the latest version. 6435 is just the build number. I mean, some fixes here and there, but the major release number is 2017.1. So I'm starting RPA UiPath Studio. And once it starts, then I will have the UiPath Studio available to me. Okay, so this is the UiPath screen, and it is asking me that, okay, I want to continue free. Now what I can do is on this, you can see that I'm able to you know, start a new project, or I can start a workflow right from here. Or a very specific process, something known as state machine diagram. We'll talk about state machine in our subsequent classes. So I can start, you know, any of these, but the most important part is that I can start with an empty project and build my project from there. This area is showing different projects that I have already worked upon. So I can quickly open a project that I've already worked upon. from here. Okay, so for the time being, I'm interested to start a new project. So let me do that. So I'll click on this. So what it says that, okay, it says that, okay, please give me the name of the project that you're interested in. So I'll say, okay, I'm interested in a project name, say RPA demo. Okay, and I want to give a name to it as RPA demo. And I can give, you know, like I can select where I want to store this project. So let's say I want to store this project into my folder, say, or I can select my, say, desktop, for example. So I'm say I'll store this project in my desktop, and I say create. Once I click on create, it will show me the actual studio area, and this is my actual studio area. So what it has done in this path, it has created a project named RPA demo, and it has created a starting file for me named main.xaml. Okay, so my workflow will be saved in this particular file. Now let us understand what exactly is this interface. So this is my main area where I will be building business process, and I will be feeding in logic to it. And on this left side, I can see project, and if I click on this activities tab, then it will show me different activities available. Now in RPA terms or UiPath terms, what we typically have is all these activities or different components or automation elements available here. So UiPath has already created more than 300 different activities that you and I can use to build our business processes. And I will demonstrate that in a while. So let us see that what I'm interested in. So let me show you that what I'm going to automate. Let us assume that I'm interested in capturing a stock price, a historical stock price of a given company, say Microsoft. So I want to get data of Microsoft, and of course I can get data for hundreds of other companies that I'm interested in, and I want to do some sort of data collection and then store it, and then subsequently I want to do analysis on top of that data to make a decision for investment, something of that nature. Obviously, as a human being, what I will do something like I will go to some sites such as Yahoo Finance, for example. So let me so I'm doing it as a human being. So I'm going to Yahoo Finance website. So as a human being, I'm opening this website, typing in URL, and it will take me to Yahoo Finance website, right? And then as a next step, what I will do, I will just go to this site and I'll say Microsoft. Okay, I'm interested in Microsoft, and then I will press enter. MSFT is the ticker symbol for Microsoft. So I've just clicked on it, and I can see the Microsoft stock price. But I'm interested in historical data of this. I'm not interested in the current price, but I want to analyze the historical data of Microsoft. And there is a link available from Yahoo Finance side about this historical data. So I can click on this historical data, and I can get into the page where it will show me Microsoft's stock prices for many days, right? So you can see that it is such a for months kind of data it is available. Of course, you can see that somewhere if it is a dividend was paid by companies, and it is showing that. So my interest is that I want to extract this data, and of course, what I can do, I can select this entire data and then copy paste into open Excel sheet and paste it over there, and then I can email that to myself. So you can imagine that if you have to do something similar to this in your real business process, obviously it will take time. So for me, this probably will take 10 minutes or so, or maybe 15 minutes of time to open the website, type in the URL, search for the Microsoft, go to the historical page, copy this entire data, open Excel sheet, paste it over there, and then save that Excel file, and then email it to say myself. So probably it would take 10 minutes or so. And if I have to do it for 100 different stock tickers, then obviously it will take that much of time. So 10 into 100 or something of that scale. Now I want to automate this process, right? So what can I do? So UiPath can help in that. So what I will do, I will do all these steps in my UiPath. So let's see how can we do it. And now you will be start learning different constituents of a business process automation. And all this, if you can, think about, this is again nothing but a user interface, right? So I'm interacting at user interface level. I'm not writing an API call or building a Java program. No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to automate the same thing. Of course, you can build a Java program, and probably you can, if Yahoo Finance has opened up their API for interacting with their stock price database, which they do actually for different businesses. I can build a Java program or .NET, but right now I'm not interested in that. I'm interested to automate it in a different way. So what I can do, I can open a browser, right? So there is one activity available from UiPath named Open Browser. That's what I'm interested in. So and another thing is that you can drag and drop to your main area. Okay, so this is known as activity, which is of type UI automation. And here you can search for whatever activity you are interested in. And as you spend time, obviously you will start learning different activities or the names. But the beauty about UiPath is that you can quickly search either from here, or there is a global search here, which will be searching entire space, workspace. But this one is specific to the UiPath activities. So this is the browser that I have opened up. Okay, so let me just type in the URL that I'm interested in, and I'm interested in finance. So I will put in this one, and it has to be in double quotes. So what I have done, I have opened an activity, and I have typed in the URL that I'm interested in, and then I will be putting in that, okay, what I'm interested in with this website. Well, I'm interested to enter Microsoft ticker symbol in my search field. Okay, so there is one activity named as type into. Okay, so just type few things and you will get the relevant activities here. You can drag and drop over here, and it will say, okay, type into activity. So remember, I was interested in to type in something here. So what I will do, and now you will see the key element which makes automation possible. Once I click on this, so it says that, okay, where do you want to type this data? So I click. The moment I click on it, it will show me my desktop. So let me just escape by pressing escape, because I am interested to work with this screen. So I'll make this on the top screen. I'll go back to my UiPath, and I say, okay, indicate element inside the browser. Okay, so can you see something different? Something very unique? I have come from UiPath, and I am able to select any UI element. So that means UiPath is able to identify all these different UI elements that I can work with. That's the beauty. So any RPA tool will be able to identify different UI elements, be it a Java program, .NET, or web browser, or mainframe. Mainframe is treated differently though, but I am able to identify these different elements. If I'm interested in this logo, I can even click on this, and UiPath will understand which element I'm interested in. Okay. For the time being, I'm interested in this element because I want to type in Microsoft here. Okay, let me click on this. So I'm clicking on it. The moment I click, it will bring me back to the UiPath. So you would have noticed that there is some screenshot that it has captured. It is just for is more of an indicative image. It is basically on the backend side. It has stored something known as overall selector for that UiPath. Remember, I selected this one. So there is a selector which is stored by UiPath for that element. And we'll talk about your selector in subsequent classes, but this is the most important thing from how automation is done. Okay, so far so good. But I am interested right now to type in MSFT or Microsoft, and then I want to press enter. Now for special keys, there is a plus button here, and these are the special keys, you know, left, alt, back button, or delete button, and likewise. But right now I'm interested in enter. So I'll press enter, and what it will do, it will basically press enter automatically. Okay, so far so good. Now after this automation, so if I run at this point of time, let me close this so that you don't see the exits. Okay, so let me run this. I mean, this is simple. So I'm just clicking on this run button here. And what it will do, it will close the UiPath and it will start a robot. So a robot has started. So the moment I clicked on that run button, it has started a robot, and robot is doing it. I'm not doing anything right now as far as the browser is concerned. It has opened the browser, and now it has done it very fast. So you can see that it has typed in MSFT, right? And it has also pressed enter, and I should be able to see Microsoft details. Now you can see that one thing that it is basically a small screen. If you want, I can make it, I can maximize it also. So let me go back to this automation, and let me search for, can I maximize this screen? And you can see there is a maximize window. I can drag and drop, and automatically the browser will be maximized. So let me run it again. See, this is my UiPath Studio. This is the studio. And once I start it, it will start a robot and it will run this workflow. Let us see. And this time, instead of this, it will maximize it also. See, did you notice that? It was created and the robot has maximized it. Now it will type in Microsoft on my search. It will happen fast so that, okay, so you probably have just saw that Microsoft was typed in by bot, and it has come back. So it has opened the Microsoft stock price. Okay, so next step I'm interested in to click on, remember, I'm interested in to click on this historical data. So there's another activity not named say click. So I can do mouse click automatic way. So I can drag and drop. So drag and drop, and it is asking me that where do you want to, same thing. See, this time I'm interested to click on this. So I'll go. So it has captured that. Behind the scene, it has created a selector so that it knows that which UI element I have to click. The next step that I'm interested in, remember that if I click on this as a human being, it will show me this table. So next I'm interested is to extract the data from here. For this, what I will do, I will use this data scraping wizard. So this is the wizard that I have, data scraping, and it allows you to extract data. So the moment I click on it, it will take me to a wizard, extract wizard, and I'm able to do few clicks and I will be able to extract data. So it says, okay, select the element. I click on next. So I can select any element. Say I click here. It says, so you know, UiPath smartly has discovered that it is not just an element, it is actually a part of a table. So you have selected a table cell. Would you like to extract the data from the entire table? And this is what I'm interested in. If suppose I say no, then only this element will be extracted. But in this case, I'm actually interested to extract the whole table. So I click yes, and see, it is able to show me a preview. This is not extraction. It's not real extraction, but it is able to show me that, okay, this is the data that I'm expected to extract. I say, okay, fantastic. I say finish. And it's saying that do you have this data spanning on multiple pages? Typically, you would have seen that you have, page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on what is how much data that your search has brought in. Like say Google, you would have, hundreds and hundreds of pages. But here, if I'm not interested in extracting multiple pages, I can leave that. So I say, no, I'm not having multiple pages. If you have multiple pages, you click yes, and then give which is the next page link. But in this case, I'm saying no. All right. So see, I was here historical data earlier, and automatically it has created this entire UI automation component, which is doing what? It is extracting that table. Now here you have to understand that how this big of data, which is a tabular in nature, how this will be stored, how it will be extracted. So now here little bit of your programming experience will be useful. So this data, if I go on this properties, so see, for every property, the right hand side properties window will show you the relevant properties which are associated with my activity. So I click on this and I see activities linked with it. With this activity, this one, I'm interested in this particular extract table activity. And if you notice, if I scroll down, every activity would have input, which is, like for example, MSFT was the input for this, right? If I say what was my input text, so this was my input text, MSFT. And similarly, if I come down and select this one, the data that I just clicked on, the table, has been stored into an object, which is named as extract data table. And if you're coming from VB.NET World Microsoft side, you will be able to understand it very quickly. But doesn't matter if you're coming from other background, other programming language development. So data table is your overall object where you can all this data has been stored. So what I can do, I can save this data into an Excel sheet by simply using an activity named write CSV. Right, CSV. Okay, drag and drop. And what I can do, it is asking me that, okay, what is the path where you want to store? I say C colon users Ramesh and say desktop. I want to save it on desktop and say I say result dot CSV. Okay, and what is the data that you want to store? So UiPath has already created this activity wherein you can feed in this data table and it will create a CSV or Excel sheet for you. I will click on that extract data. I just simply pressed E and it has showed me all possible objects available or data variables available in its scope, this scope of this activity. So I'll select this one. And now I know that this has been, this is going to be saved by this write CSV activity in this file. So this is my data object. One thing that you would have noticed that this symbol is coming in. So this means that in somewhere in my workflow for this activity or this parent activity, so this is parent of this activity, right? Because I've placed it inside this data scraping bigger activity or the enclosing activity. So this is the enclosed activity and this is the enclosing or the parent activity. So what it is saying that there's something missing in your workflow or your activity configuration. Once I address all these things, then this should automatically disappear. So that's the advantage. So you would know that if you have any problem with your workflow or not by looking at this symbol. Okay, because I just entered this data object. If I click outside or save, because I have completed my entire things, then obviously it has taken care of that. So no problem in my workflow anywhere. Okay, next I'm interested to send this CSV file through an email to somebody. Of course, there are so many email automation activities available. So what I will do, I'll say Outlook email. I want to send Outlook email. So send Outlook. You can see there are a few activities available for Outlook mail, and I'll drag and drop. And it says that, okay, what do you want to email? I'll say, okay, I want to email to this email address. I'll send it to myself so that I can show you that, okay, email has come to me. So I'll say stock historical data, and in the body I'll say, and all this text have to be in double quotes. So body I'll say, okay, hi, attached is the historical data for MSFT, and I say bot, because bot is sending it, and I will attach that file. So I click on attach files, and it will show me this. So I'll click on create argument. By default, it will create an in argument, means this is the input going into that email. So I have to attach a file. The type is string. We'll talk about data types and variable types in subsequent classes. But right now, what is the value that I have to provide for this in data element? So in this case, this is the path of my attachment. So I'll say C colon, same path, C colon / users / Ramesh / desktop / result.csv, and I click on OK. All right. So no error so far in my workflow, and I've created this email. Let me just repeat what I've done. I have opened a browser activity. I have given the URL. After that, I have maximized the screen so that the entire browser will be occupying the screen that I have. After that, I have entered Microsoft ticker in the search field of the browser. Once my next page has been loaded, I have clicked on the historical data so that I get the historical data of this particular ticker. After that, I have used the data scraping wizard to select that table, and internally this table has been saved into a data object named extract data table. I can name it any other data variable, just like in your Java program or .NET. The type of that object is data table. So I have got the object. Now I want to save this data object into a Excel sheet or CSV file, which is the so I have given the path and I've given the data object to save it into Excel or CSV file. After that, once this file has been created, I want to send it to this particular email address with this subject and this body. All right. So my process is done, is ready, no error whatsoever. Let me just close this website so that there's no Internet Explorer opened. Now what I will do, I'll click on this run or F5, or alternatively, I can simply put my cursor on this studio and I can start from here. So there are multiple ways to start. F5, click here, or start from here. All right, for the time being, what I'm going to do is, I will just going to click on this and it will start Internet Explorer. It will type in the URL and then search for the ticker that I have provided, or the stock symbol that I provided, and do the what I have asked this process to do, right? So as a human being in your business processes, you do something very similar, isn't it? All these companies or so many people, they do some form of this kind of interaction with multiple systems. Of course, this is very, very simple, extremely simple workflow, but in real production kind of workflow, it will be much more complex, much more complex, of course. But you got the idea that how we can do workflow development, sort out the problems that we have, and then do this process through automated way, which is done through a bot. Okay, so I can open up my even this one. So you can see that my task manager is showing that what different studio bots are running. This is running at a service level. This is my studio. So once I click on this, a bot will start and will do all these steps. So let's start. So I'm going to click on this, and after this clicking, I will not do anything. Everything will be done by bot. Okay, I'm not doing anything. Okay, so bot has started. If you see the bottom right of the my bar, browser is maximized. URL has been typed in. Now Microsoft will be typed in into the Yahoo search. Here it is. Enter will be pressed by bot. A page has been loaded. Now bot is clicking on historical data. Table has been loaded. Now bot is capturing this table, and process is done. So it has taken 26 seconds. So this is the output window of Studio. So it started, and if I click on this, then it will show me the time also. But broadly speaking, it has taken 26 seconds to complete it. Let us see. Has it created the file? Yes, it has created the result.csv. Let me just open it. And let's see if I have the data that I was interested in. Yes, I got the data, right? Okay, the next is, let's see if I've got the email. Okay, I will go to my inbox. Here it is, historical data, right? So I got the email, and this is the same file. Hi, attached is the historical data for Microsoft. All right, so simple, straightforward, and beauty is that it is able to do this entire process in 26 seconds. And of course, in real production environment, you will be having a real business case to automate, and it will do the work as per the automation logic that you have brought in. Another important thing, because you have come from programming background, you don't have to hard code these things, not at all. These things can go into a configuration files, and it can read through JSON files, JSON format, but that is something, for future classes. But just like what your practices that you typically do in your programming, same thing we can do it over here. Even we can write, if we need to, we can write our customized code also, and we can bring that logic to our workflow process. Okay, so with this, I will conclude my presentation and demo. I'm sorry it has taken a little longer. So I budgeted an hour and a half for this, but now I'm open for question and answers so that I can respond to the queries that you might have to ask about this RPA tool and the UiPath. So now I'm open for questions. So Koti, can you moderate that, please? So anybody who is interested to ask question, unmute yourself and feel free to raise question. Dinesh, Himanshu, Rajkumar, Ram. So Dinesh, did you have any question that you would like to ask me? Okay, Koti, can you unmute participants so that they can ask question? Or I can do that. Koti, can you unmute Dinesh? Okay, so Koti is saying some. Okay, so Dinesh, can you type in your question and I will respond to that. In the meantime, Rajkumar has raised this question. Using this workflow, can we convert into some other language like Java? Okay, so if your question is regarding converting this workflow as an output of Java, no, that is not the purpose of RPA automation. In this case, what it has been done, that it has created a XAML file. It is more of an XML file. It's actually an XML file. This entire workflow has been saved into that XML file. Now, using bot, I can run a bot and I can feed in this workflow, and the bot will be able to run this workflow. So it is nothing to do with that converting into Java language and then build something using Java. However, if your question is from, can I use Java to automate some of the steps? Answer is yes, very much. I can write Java programs to do something, and I can bring that Java as an activity and can bring that, can execute that as part of my workflow automation. So that's very much possible.
Hi Ramesh, I have a small question. What kind of people we are targeting in the cells? Like, what kind of users? Like,
okay, this is okay.
Dinesh.
Dinesh, okay. Hi Dinesh.
Yeah.
So
Hi.
your question is that what kind of people we are targeting, means what type of people can come into RPA field and become RPA professional. So see, from roles perspective, first of all, you really don't, it's not mandatory to have software programming experience. Anybody who has a ability to understand business processes, which we have to do in any IT project for that matter, but a knowledge of programming concepts, and if you have some experience in .NET or Java or any other language, then it becomes very, very handy to learn this RPA technology and use it. Now, talking about what kind of people essentially can come into this field, anybody can come in this field, be it you're fresher, or you have some experience of 1 year, 3 year experience, or even senior people also can come into this field. From role perspective, there are demand for RPA project managers, RPA architects, RPA business analysts, and of course, the biggest area, RPA developers. There are RPA testers also, roles available. The biggest segment is, of course, RPA developers. And for becoming an RPA developer, you need not, it's not mandatory to have a programming experience, but it is of big help in learning RPA quickly if you have background in or understanding of programming concepts. Because here also you would be going through if else, do while, switch statement, workflows, if conditions. So typically whatever the constants that you use for your control classes in Java or other programming, you would be using similar things over here. Similarly, to manage your data, you would be using various objects to store your data. For example, collection APIs, you will be using collection activities here. You have like the tables, database connections, just like we have seen one object of data table where the table is stored. I can even process this table row by row, cell by cell, just like you do in your Java program. I can do it. So my point is that if you have coming from a programming experience of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, then it is a big advantage to learn this technology. But in principle, freshers, people with some experience of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and also senior people can very well can come into RPA and become RPA professional.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Himanshu, do you have any question? Or Rajkumar? Let me check chat if somebody has typed in any question here. Okay. So no new question on chat. Yeah, so anybody, I mean, Himanshu or Rajkumar. Yeah, Rajkumar has raised a question. Let me go to chat. So question from Rajkumar is that to organize only, okay, using this workflow, can we convert? Oh, I think I've already addressed this question. Using the, so can we convert into some other language like Java? So, you know, as I answered earlier, it is not that we are converting this workflow to any other language like Java or anything like that. It is basically that the workflow is saved in a XAML file, and the XAML file is basically, we call it as a workflow file having business logic in it. And this workflow file will be executed by bot on the target machine. So right now the target machine is this, and my bot has executed this process stored into this main.xaml file, workflow file, and the execution happened the way I intended it to be. But it is nothing to do that I can convert this into Java. However, if you are interested to call a .NET program or Java program or any other, I can very well call that component, because there are activities available, or I can interact with Java program through some mechanism within this workflow that I've automated. Okay, so feel free to ask questions. So no problem. If you have whatever, I mean, don't worry about whether you're asking relevant or irrelevant question. Doesn't matter. It is important to clarify your doubts. So feel free to ask question. But as far as the contact is concerned, this is the contact slide. You can send your questions or any query that you might have to next IT training coordinator, and these are the details about the contact. So you can contact on WhatsApp also. That the phone number is very simple, 9494 494646, or you can write email at info@nextittraining.com. Okay, so if you don't have any question, then I would like to conclude this demo. Thank you so much, and I really apologize again for the late start by half an hour, because my microphone was not working. And I hope you have learned something today, and will be able to make decisions as per your career needs, and we will be able to have a good learning session if you decide to be part of this training. So with that, I conclude this demo, and thank you Koti, and thank you Dinesh, Himanshu, Rajkumar, and a couple of other people who were there in the training earlier. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.